will be conducting worship this morning. Right? So I want you to listen attentively, be on your best behavior, and let's give him a warm welcome. Please welcome Dr. Ben Seebaran. Also a past student of Iere High School.
Good morning. If I may use the words of Mr. Brand, please be seated. Please be seated. You may be seated. Thank you. If you stand for worship, then so be it. Keep standing. Keep standing. That's fine. Stand. 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 Okay. All right. My name is Dr. Ben Seebaran. I have the honor of being in the first class here at Iere High School. I had the honor of being the first head prefect, the honor of being the first cricket captain, the honor of being the first valedictorian, and things like that. But I am reminded of 1959 when I last stood on this stage and I gave the valedictory speech to my classmates in Form 5, 1959. And as I reflect on that day, I recall one of the lines that I used to my fellow classmates in 1959, and it went something like this: aim for the stars, so that if you miss, you'll hit the clouds. Amen? Praise the Lord. So I think that adage is appropriate for you today, that you should have goals that are set very high. You should have high expectations and goals, so that even if you were not to reach them, you would have reached and accomplished something that would have been very worthwhile for you. I thank God for you this morning. If I may quote a verse from the Bible, in Ephesians 2, verse 10, it goes something like this: for you are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which He has prepared in advance for you. You are God's workmanship, created to do good works, which He has already prepared for each and every one of you. Each of you has a gift, is given at least one gift by God to be used for the advancement of His kingdom. And so I leave you with that thought in your mind, that you try to discover. If you do not know what your gift is, it will soon become evident. And as you go along in your life, if you still don't know what your gift is, ask your friends. They will tell you what you are good at. As I reflect as well, I recall the foundations of this school. It was built on things like high academic achievement. We wrote our senior Cambridge examination in 4 years' time, and we did very well. Our school was founded and grounded on good discipline. It was founded on courtesy and respect. It was founded on good sportsmanship, good moral. Our principal, Reverend Grant, was a man of great ideals, and he was a strict disciplinarian, somebody who made sure that he left us with something that we would need and grow up to love. And all of the students, the past students of Iere, who I've had the privilege of talking to in recent times, even Mr. Ramcharan, who I talked to just about a week ago, Mr. Clifford Ramcharan, who was one of our founding teachers, he has some very fond memories of Iere. And along those lines, were the close-knit family feeling that we had at Iere. We were connected with each other. We felt close with each other. Our staff and students worked together as a team to accomplish the goals that were set for us. Amen? So I urge you to try to think back and keep up some of those traditions that have been set. And of course, your purpose is to be educated. It is Alfred North Whitehead who said, education is not the acquisition of knowledge, but it is the acquisition of the art of utilization of knowledge. Just knowledge by itself, you hear the statement that knowledge is power. I say to you that knowledge is power only to an extent, but the right use of knowledge, that's where the power comes on. For it is Spurgeon who says that knowledge by itself is nothing. It is to be wise is to know how to use your knowledge, to know when and how to use it. For there are many people today who have knowledge and are not using it. In fact, they are abusing it. One of the most dangerous things in society today is if you take somebody without God and you put them through university, they come back with PhD degrees and they invent words like homophobia, gender identity, moral relativism. I am a bit of a linguistic student, and I know that these terms have some basic flaws, because what is gender identity? Gender identity is described as any gender you want to be. Today in Canada and the United States, a person, if he feels like a male, he goes to a male washroom. And if at the next moment he feels like a female, he goes to the female washroom. So it's a kind of a gender fluid situation. You can decide which gender you want. God didn't design us that way. They are only man and woman, and marriage was made to happen between a man and woman. Mankind is changing the laws. So as I say, you have people with degrees who are changing the laws of nature and of God to introduce them to society, and so we have no moral compass. You know, one of the problems that we had was in the 60s when they removed the Bible and prayer from schools in America and Canada. They removed the Bible and prayer, so that what was our standard? We had no standards then. People then became interested in themselves. You had self-concept, self-esteem, self-fulfillment, self-actualization. Everything was selfish. It was selfish concern for the individual. So we lost a moral compass, and that is so evident today. The world is without a moral compass. We need God. We need people of faith. We need people who can stand up for certain values that society needs today. So as I look at you and I reflect on my own grounding at this school, I see you as people who will help shape the future that is to come. And let us hope that the traditions that this school has stood for and has stood by, you will try to perpetuate in future generations to come. For, you know, it will be a sad day when we do not have religious and spiritual values in our society. So I say to you, be men and women of faith, be strong. Have, you know, people today, they say, well, there's a new world order, and the agenda of the new world order is to remove God, Christianity, and the Bible from society. And they're trying to change the definition of truth. They say truth is what you feel inside of you. Well, yes, to an extent, subjectivity is a kind of truth, but there's also absolute truth. Because it was Aristotle who said to say of what is that it is, and of what isn't that it isn't is true. But to say of what is that it isn't, or of what isn't that it is false. In other words, if you call in a mango an orange, that's false. You have to call a mango to say of what is that it is. That's what it is. So don't, you know, say that you're a female if you're a male, etc. So truth then today is based on the subjective mind of the individual, and the New World Order is trying to say to us that you are what is true only for you. But do not forget that there's a truth that is beyond us, and that is the truth of God. And that is an invisible truth. Faith is the substance of things not seen. It is the evidence of things hoped for. So faith cannot be seen. Just because you cannot see something, you know, your inability to see the invisible does not negate the fact that it does exist. It does exist. You cannot see oxygen, yet you cannot deny that it does exist. So faith is like that. So nobody can tell you, if you have faith, that you don't know what you're talking about. Faith exists like that. Faith is the invisible, and that's a dimension that is very important for us, because it was by faith that Abraham, he hoped against hope that the promises of God will be fulfilled. We are people of faith, and I urge you to not discard that aspect of your life that is so important. Be people of faith, right? Amen. And so, the students, Bernard Shaw says, George Bernard Shaw said, I did not let my schooling interfere with my education. So that means schooling and education is a little bit different. Schooling is the acquisition of knowledge. Education is understanding plus knowledge and application and so on. So remember that you are going to school to acquire knowledge, but that's not the end. How you use that knowledge is ultimately going to be of the greatest value. There are some people who can take a little bit of knowledge and apply it in many different ways. Life is a condition in which the demands of reason and analysis is inescapable. You cannot escape having to use reason in this world. And I urge you to be critical thinkers. One of the purposes of education, well, the first purpose is so that you become critical thinkers. You are autonomous. You are able to think by yourself. Think things out. Because in this world today, there is so much information that if you do not sort it out, you will be confused. You don't know who to listen to, because even the newspapers from day to day have contradictions in them, as they have different stories to tell the same event, and they put the emphasis on different things. So you, as an individual, have to sort it out and be a critical thinker in order that you'll think correctly. A critical thinker is one who thinks about his thinking in order to make his thinking better. So take all the facts, weigh the facts, and then come up with your decision. All right? So as I stand here and look at you, I fondly remember Mr. Grant and all of those nice teachers that I'm sure you have today, and I remember the inspirations that they were to us. And I would like to leave you with that message as well, that you, each one of you, as I said in Ephesians 2 verse 10, each one of you has a gift to be used. Each one of you. And I urge you to keep that in mind, to work hard. Struggle is the law of growth. You are faced with difficulties from time to time. Don't give up. Persevere. Experience a peak experience. When you extend yourself, work hard. Burn the midnight oil as we did. I remember studying here, coming here to study until midnight sometimes. When we moved here in 1957 it was, and we used to come and study Latin Iliad 6, and I knew the Virgil Iliad to a T. I could memorize the whole book, and we were ready for the exam. So be ready for the examinations. Do some visualization and mental rehearsal. That means try to think of what the future is going to hold for you and work with that in mind. Visualization is important. Have a picture of where you want to be and work towards it. Have a goal and pursue the goal to the very end. To the very end. Are we just about finished now? Yes. So thank you. I see. So I wish you good luck in your examinations, and thank you for having me. It's a joy to look at the face